creating your
Right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How's everyone doing? It's been a while. Last stream 2 months ago. GG. I hope everyone's had a good couple of months. It's certainly been interesting market-wise. Hope your P&Ls have been reflective of the wonderful conditions we find ourselves in. Hello, Catbot, my friend. Cheers, Outrex and Shay and Steph. Hello. I think I've got it all set up because it's been a while. I'm a little bit rusty at this. Public stream anyway, obviously. I've still been doing my streams in the Paragon every week. But yeah, it's nice to have the time to do it again. And one of the things that I've just found about these conditions, I don't know about everyone else, is it's been difficult to keep up with everything going on, all the new narratives, new listings. Personally, I'm quite thankful that I took, basically 2 weeks off over the past of the past 3 weeks. I've been like AFK for 2 of it, which is basically this period, which has been quite nice. feel fully refreshed. Actually managed to get my illness away, which has been plaguing me since the start of January, so my voice sounds as normal as my voice normally sounds, really. And yeah, it's hopefully just in time for the next leg on the market, but we'll see. We'll see. We've had a few bits of weakness today, which hasn't been particularly great. I was kind of hoping for just a breakout and continuation on ETH, following a little bit of ETH strength, but ETH continues to be the bitch of the market, and ETH BTC continues to seems to be the most overcrowded trade there is, in terms of everyone wants to catch it, and it just doesn't seem to actually work out that way. Yeah, how's everyone been doing? Has everyone been enjoying these conditions, or getting chopped up? What's been the consensus? Because I've certainly traded less, obviously, well, being AFK and stuff, but I've traded less in the last 4 or 5 weeks than I did, during this period of up only. Smart and chill? Yeah, smart, man. Very smart. Like, this is the thing, is like, this is choppy ranging price action on a lot of alts, and a lot of alts are like under, I don't know, whatever you want to use, VWAP, CMA, structurally, they are, instead of pointing up, they are pointing sideways, and, it's fine if you want to be the person that tries to catch things at the bottom of ranges, and play that. Where's my brush? So like this, you don't know it's technically a bottom of a range, I guess. I'm like down here, but here you've got reasonable invalidation to kind of size up. But that's not me. I prefer trying to catch the actual like meat of the move instead of like ranging price action. But we'll come on to that. Kai making me lose. Yeah, Kai's been one of the the thing with meme coins and stuff like that, which I'll always caveat, is some of them go to zero, and some of them don't do very well, and that's like the risk of it all. I wrote a big thread on it the other day, and just kind of covered that side of my portfolio, because I ate into a reasonable amount of shit coins, which I just don't care about anymore. Like, don't care about sharing. Like, I'm trusting that people aren't retarded enough to ape their mortgage into, some low cap dog shit that has a 50-50 chance of going to zero, basically. Bags are hurting, what are you supposed to do? Got into that at 400k market cap? Jesus, nice. Yeah, I mean, I had a friend, Ewan Stevenson, say about it, and I was like, oh, I'm like, AFK, I'm ill, I'm just like, oh, I can't be bothered with the market, like, and sorry for myself, and I missed like an early entry, basically. Like a super early entry. I'm not sure it was 400k, it might have been like 1 mil, maybe, I don't know. But it was pretty early. He put it in the Paragon group, actually. Yes, I faded it early, but it just shows that, like, in strong or on strong coins generally, that being late isn't necessarily a bad thing, as long as the structure is intact, as long as that particular market is strong or that narrative is hot. Memes have been absolutely killing it, and that's why, like, I think you kind of have to migrate a little bit to the meme coin arena. It's tough, and I'm not aping my standard position size. So like, I'm currently long ETH just for a rotation, nothing else. Like, but that position size is like 5500x. What I would put in a meme coin and lose. Like, I'm not gonna just go, oh yeah, here, have my whole like ETH position size and chuck it into dogshit Come New 97 that was launched 5 minutes ago. Like, yeah. Anyway, enough of that. Where do we all think the market's going then, boys and girls? Up, down, left, right? I know that's probably what you're here for me to say, but I'm always interested in what other people say. What's my view on where Vanry is going? Oh, I'll come on to that one, because I get like a DM, I post a chart, and people are like, what about Vanry? I'm like, what do you mean, what about Vanry? Fucking load it up yourself and have a look. Like, and that's what that actual interaction is what inspired me to write the whole planning and patience thread, and why I think the biggest weakness of 90% of market participants is a lack of a plan. Yeah, I'm not saying that specifically about you, Lepia. It's more about you know, I understand why you want to see how other people see it and learn that perspective. But you know, if you're balls deep long ETH right now from down here, you know, and your risk appetite is it's going to 10k, so fuck it. Like that's your plan, right? That's it. Simple. But if you're like a midwit, which most people are, to be honest, right? Because they don't have a fucking clue. One of the big benefits of being stupid in this arena is that if you ape some dog shit like Bowden or something at 100k market cap, and you're like, yeah, this is the fucking future of finance, you put $1,000 in it, and then it goes bosh up to 500 mil, and you're like, yeah, told you it was going to happen. You've probably had the retarded conviction to hold it all the way. Whereas most people, myself included, would go, right, that's 10x, happy days, I'll take some off. 20x, fucking hell, have a bit more, lovely jubbly. You know, I'm going to get to here with probably 5-10% of my back because I don't have that conviction on some dogshit meme coin. Whereas like Vanry, like I'll just go to it now, I suppose. Like Vanry, I actually posted the chart the other day. Like for me, it's really fucking simple, because this pivot level is pretty like similar on a lot of charts, right? You have a very strong move, that kind of bouncing ball of momentum, and then we had basically a break of that downtrend, and we did the same again, and then we lost it, and now we can't reclaim it. And so for me, like a trend continuation play for this is really easy. One, let's break out of here, and that's your first add. And the second is add over here with an invalidation under there. Invalidation under there. Really kind of simple. And it's based around the market's momentum. If you're in from like 0.05 or wherever you said you were in, like how much profit do you want to give back? Like what's your profit taking strategy? Like mine is generally a little bit higher. And you know, I've been targeting that 0.5 for quite a while. And whether it gets there, who knows? Nobody knows. I can pretend to know, but I don't know. You know, other friends are saying like $1 easy enough and yada yada yada, but it's all about you and your personal risk appetite. My risk appetite on this bag is pretty high, but if yours isn't, then and you've got a 3 or 4x out of it or whatever, is it 5x, well, 4x I guess, at the moment, then you know, don't be afraid to kind of pay yourself and make it a risk-free trade. You can always add back on up here. And it just having that plan and having that blind bit of like, this is how I'm going to execute, even setting some alerts and just going like, well, I'm gonna sell half my position here because I'd rather add it on up here and take a loss here than watch this slowly bleed to 0 and then go, oh fuck, I better actually sell down here. Right? I'm bullish. I think it'll come back, but you know, I'm wrong. I'm wrong a lot. Most people are. So yeah, that would be my advice. Sit down, chart it out, you know, understand how much you're willing to risk at this point, because you could take 100% of your position off the table right now and walk away, right? You know, some people are like, oh, I'll wait for a pump, and it might just do that, and then you'll go, oh, fuck, I just lost 50%. I'm not saying that's going to happen. Like, I always try and think of things in probabilities, like, what's the probability of it doing this? Pretty fucking low at the moment, because the whole market's reasonably risk off. Like, it's not risk off compared to where it was 6 months ago, but in terms of breakout trades and, you know, just instant 20%, or well, that's probably 50%, isn't it, candles, it's just not there. So that's not going to happen. This, again, probably similar. Don't think that's going to happen. A slow, steady grind? Yeah, maybe. Ranging? Quite possibly. A small move down, you know, take this low out maybe and take this area of demand. Maybe we'll come onto the Bitcoin and ETH kind of scenario. And a big drop, like, I don't really see that as the main possibility. Like, I'm kind of more in favor of this kind of price action, right? And that's just like an insight into my thought process and how I try and see things and then plan around it. Like, if I see this, this is what I'll do. If I see this, this is what I'll do. And just make it brain dead for yourself. You won't get it right every single time, but that was like the whole point of the thread and the whole point of having plans. And if you like arbitrarily take 10% off your position at a 10x, like that's my pretty hard and fast rule, right? It's very rare I will ever let a position like at a 10x multiple I won't take the money off it. Very rare, because I need to pay myself at some point, right? And I can't just assume that things go up forever, because they will pull back. And even if they then run again, as long as I've got some exposure, taking my risk off the table, everyone's happy. Yeah, sorry, it was a bit of a long chat. Planning on offloading around 0.05, well, 30k with 3k. I mean, that's, you know, that's your risk and that's your plan. You know, go for it. As long as you're happy with it. Test token on Sol won't go to 0. Test Twitter bot, no. yeah, the test token's retarded. And it's just so left curve that it's interesting. It's interesting to me anyway. I've got a bag, disclosure, yada yada yada. I'm going to dump it all on your heads, and I've got 10% of the supply that I'm going to cheat in one order. Like, no, I haven't. But yeah, some of the memes are really funny that's going on at the moment. Like, and I think it pays to be in the meme space, but like with a small percentage of your portfolio and with things that have some liquidity, have some form of structure, have something that looks, bullish about them, something that's sold off and could come back, 99% down. RR isn't there for me, but anyway, we'll come on to memes and stuff later. Let's go back to Daddy VTC. So 2 scenarios for me at the start of the week. One was continuation long. Now, I am actually long from 63, I think it is. Let me take a peek. I am long from, 63,053. So I'm long from down here in this bit here. I think it was. And I memed it in the group, which was a don't let the bankers steal your bitcoins. I did something like literally this. I think I even put it on Twitter, which is straight to 100k basically. So I'm in this. I still think that this kind of consolidation is pretty healthy after the run up. We've had previous consolidation before the old all-time highs. Like back here, that's a shit ticket to use. This here. Now, history doesn't necessarily repeat, but it often rhymes like this, and then a bit of a struggle, and then obviously just absolute rush up. We're going to make it, and then a deep pullback, and so on and so forth. I don't think the cycle's going to be the same. I don't think any cycle is the same, even if you compare like the complete parabolic top of 2017 to this one. We had that massive bubble. Afterwards, is it Neko bubble? Is it the same cycle? Is it whatever? I'm not going to get into any kind of bullshit technical discussion over what that is. It felt like part of the same cycle to me. I think it's one cycle, but whatever. Other people have argued too. I think this was pullback 1, this was pullback 2, and that was the final one, and then it ended. But whatever. I think it's fair to have some resistance around previous all-time high, and struggling a little bit to kind of make that next move up, and reasonably, like this looks a bit more distributive when you are on a 3-day compared to that, but also we are at a kind of far less extended point, I guess, in this, and like that run up compared to that run up, like I don't know. That was, what was it? Was it 9 weekly candles in a row or something? Or no, the 3-day. It's like 11 bullish 3-day candles in a row. We actually had a couple of little sell-offs up here, and we've actually been seeing some reasonable profit taking, presumably from people underwater all this time. And that whole consolidation around previous all-time high, like that's this, right? And I don't see that as kind of something to be particularly worried about for the long-term trend. Do I want to short everything and get on board a short? Well, the scenario that I talked about in the group at the start of the week was this, and this was if we can sweep these highs and come under this again, and we reject that, then that's a good short scenario in my opinion, just to hedge things like my spot bags and just to get on board a little bit of a pullback if we are going to continue to range for a while. I did not take this trade, but this is what I'm trying to sort of talk about in terms of thought process. Like, I'm setting myself up for the week with actionable trade plans that say, if you see this happen, Charlie, you can take this trade. Here is your invalidation. Off you go with it. I don't really have to think. I just have to let the market kind of come to me. And then the opposite side of that, I don't know why I've labeled these the wrong color, was the kind of long side, which is exactly what's happened now. And if I was looking for a continuation long play, like this would be it. So this is the trade that I'm in, and I'm still in. It's something like 20R, or I think it's a little bit less than that, because I think my validation is under there, but whatever. If we just strip everything back, and we just go, what is happening, like on a daily time frame, we still haven't lost the 50 RSI. And we're seeing higher lows and slightly lower high, but then this is the first kind of, if you squint, high. Like, we're seeing that consolidation, and I don't pay for YouTube Premium because I'm clearly too poor. It's obviously been a bear market for like 6 weeks, so I can't, I can't pay for YouTube Premium or whatever it is. But until we kind of break this, and until we, actually drop out of this like potential distribution, I'm just going to play the trend, and there is a risk involved with that, and the altcoin market is suffering massively, and we can see that from Spaghetti. We can see it from the fact that the last kind of few weeks, in particular, haven't been particularly wonderful for altcoins. If you look at some of these, like big time 40% down, Bitcoin's down 3%, whereas an awful lot of alts are down a hell of a lot more than that. There are some exceptions, particularly around meme coins, which is why I think it is smart to focus from a beta perspective, i.e. an intraday trading perspective, on meme coins, but also from a, well, I've got small amounts of money that I'm willing to gamble on meme coin XYZ, let's go and do it. So, you've probably seen me tweet about different meme coins, whether it's Kai, whether it's Test, or whether it's all these other different coins that are about. Like, it's because I think that's where there's some money to be made. Doesn't mean ape your entire net worth in them, etc. But yeah, it's pretty fucking clear, isn't it? And BCH, obviously, because why not, right? The real Bitcoin. I think you see a dump on mainnet when locked tokens get released along with their accumulated nice APR. Would wait until mainnet and see how the market reacts on binary. Yeah, no, that's a fair point. That is quite a kind of major catalyst, and often it's sell the news in terms of, all the hype. Mainnet's here, great, bang. Now what? Oh, nothing. So no, I completely agree with you. It takes them off the table and crack on. Hey Charlie, have you found this cycle easier than playing previous ones? That's a really good question. It's probably a really nuanced answer as well. Yes and no, because there are certain things that I found much easier and certain things that I found much harder. So this cycle I've been a lot more, I'll start with my weaknesses because I'm very good at being critical. This cycle I found it harder to have conviction in particular plays and be like last cycle I was so convinced Room was going to $100, right? I was shilling it to SC, Jim, like people when they were shorting it, and they shorted it on the way down, like at the end as well, so I'm not discrediting them at all. And they did short it on the way up and catch some nice shorts, etc, etc. They actually did one where they literally shorted it together, and then 2 minutes later Room got hacked and it went down like 30%. So yeah, we mean that Jim was the hacker, but my point being that I've lacked trading conviction in high time frame narrative plays this cycle compared to last, and some of them I've had decent conviction in, things like a BRC meta, like that. Like I pivoted to basically BRC private sales and spot investments for a little period. Memes, in terms of deploying very early on memes, like with and all of that, like it's very difficult unless you are connected to basically like not insider groups but strong communities of people who have a lot of influence, to be like reasonably early on them. And I think when stuff like WIF first came out, I probably spent too much time trading other alts than really thinking, maybe meme season will come earlier. And historically, as in the last 2 cycles that I've seen, meme season was at the end, and I didn't think we were anywhere near the end, and we weren't. But I guess participants have learned that if you want to change $1,000 into $1 million, your best chance is probably meme coins for like 95% of people who don't want to do anything other than buy something that looks funny, leave it for 2 months, and then go, oh fuck me, I'm a multi-millionaire, lovely jubbly. So I found it easier in some ways. So like I've got more capital obviously than a couple of years ago when like with cycle 1. Like infinitely easier than cycle 1 because I was a fucking idiot in cycle 1. But slightly more stressful because I knew what I was doing, because I wanted to manage risk effectively and I planned things. And some of the pumps this cycle have been far less impressive than 2021 and 2017 in particular. Far less impressive, I think. You know, there's been a few coins that have absolutely banged. Obviously, things like Whiff, Bonk, and all of that. But I don't know. I still think 2017 was certainly an era, and it was mental, absolutely mental. But yeah, does that kind of answer your question? I think a lot of people are probably struggling with different things relative to them because, like, I've had a spot Bitcoin bag for a long, long, long time, right? And I've added into it, I've DCA'd into it over time, and you know my average entry is down here somewhere. So looking to sell at like around the 100k mark up here initially, and actually finally realize some profits on those real long-term holdings, but like, it's hard to deny that we have been in a parabolic uptrend since November 22, and if this distributes and goes lower, then you could see that kind of infamous cup and handle, which again I memed in the Paragon, and someone who joined and caught and went through all of our old videos found it. It's like October down here. I drew a big cup and handle. So that's gonna be Bitcoin, please. Have I covered looks yet? No, I haven't. But yeah, that's my thoughts around BTC. I actually, I think we get continuation. I think though this is one of the main areas where like it's a range at the moment, right? Undeniable that it's a simple range. Don't need to overcomplicate it. Like basically just level to level plays, and I know that that's turned into a bit of a meme, but it's really not for me. Like, I don't know how you can't just draw a couple of lines on a chart and say if price goes in here and it closes in here and it doesn't just bounce up. Like that's when I'd start being scared in terms of my altcoin positions, and when we start losing like the trend of the higher lows, and we're going, okay, all right, this is really bad now. I actually probably want to take a head short in here somewhere so that I can play any downside, because we've had that push up. It's clearly failed and rejected, and the market is telling me that it wants to go lower. So the chances of it being a distributive pattern on BTC down here, in my opinion, are much higher than it is even here, right? And that's only a couple of $1,000 difference. I completely get that, but playing something down to like the 52k level, like that, would basically cover a lot of, or some of, my my spot alt risk. Does that make sense? Does the INJ consolidation remind you? I don't really look at INJ. I missed INJ, to be honest. I mean, it's that classic. I love that pattern of just like parabolic move, range for a bit, sweep the previous highs, come back in. I mean, for me, like, I'd want to see all of this swept. So I'd want to see, like, I would love to see us wick into this area here, right? And I would love to see a strong reaction, basically, and just pile in risk there, especially if it comes out as high beta on Spaghetti. But I haven't really seen Inch on Spaghetti for a long time. Biggest difference I see is I've had to adapt this cycle. There's more dispersion, only a few selected coins moving hard. Yeah, I completely agree. Like, I think it's always been the case of picking the coins has been half of the game, right? If you get the right coins, you just get carried. You can get carried through stupid positioning and poor trading by just having a really strong coin, right? God knows when I was like trading Myro basically at the top around 40 cents. I made some dumb trades, but on a low time frame rotational basis, basically every time it took me out of them. As in, it gave me a place to sell and catch that rotation, and then after it like pulled back, I'd go in again, and lovely market conditions, very forgiving, right? But it's not that at the moment. And an example I gave in the group actually, because we were talking about what the market conditions are, and I try and preach and teach like sorry, I can't multitask obviously. A kind of style where you assess the market conditions around you and what your expectations for position should be in terms of, if I had this setup right on Bohm, which was, when was it? Oh, yeah, last week, and I was basically looking at something. Was it there? Oh, wherever it was, but we'll just pretend that this is that it goes up to there, and we've got something like this, and we've got a really nice consolidating meme triangle that's putting in higher lows and kind of equal highs, if I could draw it right, and we're getting that compression, which usually leads to a strong breakout, right? For me, a few weeks ago, I would have taken that trade every single time because we were fully risk on. Alt Spaghetti was really, really strong, and not many coins were actually down. Even when Bitcoin was selling off, they were down like 1% or 2%, or maybe 5%, but it was pretty small. Like most alts, if you stick 4 hour on and you chuck like the macro trend scanner on, which is just a really simple set of EMAs, if they were pointing up, great. Now most of them are pointing down, and a simple thing like that would just tell me I don't really want to take many aggressive breakout trades unless it's on a very strong coin. Not many coins, even just flicking down, are kind of green today, and I get that it's because of other things, but where the fuck is XVG? God damn. Hilarious. This is another interesting way of looking at it as well, I suppose, which is the kind of altcoin market cap and windows for total 3 over Bitcoin. It's CKB, NGL? What are your thoughts on our FTM saga? What FTM saga? Have I missed something? What FTM saga, brother? Gala Weekly looks good. What said about looks? I'll jump onto looks. What's been said about PAL? For me, PAL is that strong coin at the top, was up 12,000%. Yeah, and I think that's the thing, is like you pick 1 or 2 good coins and they just fly. Like, yeah, I've had a bag of Layer AI that pumped. Where are we going? Yeah, again, like the choice is this a consolidation before the next leg up, or is this distribution? And like real simply, like if it gets like that, breaks out of this, let's just change that a little bit. It's kind of a downtrend, but in a little range down here, breaks out of here, it's probably going to just go for that magical meme $1 level. And yeah, PAL's done me very well. PAL's a great bag. Way back when. Yeah, so you might have to fill me in on the FTM drama, utility stuff. Yeah, my positions at the moment. So Nia had a nice little breakout, and you can see my thought process on this. There was some really nice low time frame rotational strength from it as well. And as most of you who follow me for a while know, that's what I like for taking those rotations and actually jumping on and going, well, has this market got strength and has it got relative strength? From an EMA perspective. So we just said like, lovely, lovely, yeah. From a simple trend perspective, then like this is pointing up. That's good. From a simple market structure perspective, this is good on a 4-hour basis. Like it has been good for a while. You've got simple levels that it seems to respect, and it had some decent strength on the low time frame. That combined with the fact that you've got this kind of diagonal trend being broken, and the reason I didn't close on either test of it is because we were basically testing that downtrend, and I'm happy to close this at basically break even, but I still think NIR's had quite a few good and strong rotations, and I think that if we start moving up on BTC, and actually this acts as support as I kind of think it will, which is this pivotal level here, which if I wasn't in a long position is where I'd be looking to long from, then NIR is going to be a pretty strong contender for the next rotation. Could be wrong, but and I'm obviously already in position, but that's the whole thought process and structure of that trade. And the other thing that kind of supports it is, again, meme diagonal channel in terms of prices just doing that classic thing of slowly grinding up, despite the fact that we've been in pretty poor conditions generally. I got stopped on my Manta position, but I'll talk you through it anyway because it's kind of a good piece, and I doubt many people actually talk about their losses. They just get you on stream and suck themselves off. This was a really simple play for me, and it was all about, I mean, you can probably see it, right? If I take the VRVP off. It was all about this kind of pivotal level here, and just the way that price bounces around and respects it, or did. And like literally price just reacted to it pretty much every time. Like this for me was like, well, I think Manta will have a run at some point because it is a fairly new and shiny coin, and I would be targeting the kind of highs up here, so it's just a simple range play. And this pivot here seemed like, given that this was on relative strength as well, this was quite good compared to the rest of the market, a good place to say, well, let's reclaim the range on relative strength, time to get long, and ride its range highs. And it was wrong. And that happens, I won't say all the time, because it's not all the time. I'm not wrong all the time. But it happens, and we take losses. Would you manage power then if it's a spot bag? So, I've sold some power because it's up horrendously. So you kind of have to take some profits at some point. And I told you that I take 10% off of 10x. So yeah. And when you say would I manage it, like I have plans for it, and if it goes back to a certain number, I'll just dump it all on the market in one transaction. I'll tweet about it first, obviously, because I need the exit liquidity. So I'll sell into your buys, because that's the responsible thing to do. And anyone who thinks I'm serious. No, I sell in small chunks. And I love JUP. So for sol bags, JUP's got this great function that I was chatting to one of my friends about today, which is essentially you can like DCA out. Let me load it up, hang on. I don't know if any of you do this. But if you don't know about it, I'll just stick it up here, because it is like this DCA set and forget. So I want to allocate, I want to sell $100,000 to sol every 1 minute, and then I can enable a pricing strategy, but I want to do over 500 orders. The minimum price is, this, maximum price is 130, and then you connect your wallet, but it'll just say like, go do it. Maybe I want to do 5,000 orders, but you can do it the other way around. So you could sell your Solana into USDC every minute or every 5 minutes or whatever, and it will tell you the price impact of that. And so, or estimated price impacts. Obviously, it doesn't know what future liquidity is going to be like, and yada yada yada. But if you are DCAing out of positions and stuff, it's very fucking good. Very fucking good. Anyway, we move away from the Jup shell. What do I think of AIT? I think AI as an entire sector is just cooled off. Like, the big question for me, and I don't know the answer to, but I am positioned for, is another AI type run. So I don't even know the price of AIT. Assuming it's not wonderful. I don't even know it on in. I know it should be up with the A's, but ooh, yeah, not great. I mean, it went to 140 or something. Yeah, again, this is similar to a lot of like new and shiny coins, and for me, like, there's no reason to be, unless you are particularly au fait with the tech and smart money ETH. Yeah, but sorry, I got slightly distracted. Right, let's stay with the IoT and let's go on to FTM next. So for me, like, am I bullish on it? Do I think it's a good coin? Yes, I invested in it. I think it's good. I have a private sale bag that's invested over however long. So full disclosure, don't fucking lynch me because I invest in projects and I try and make money out of the space. Blah blah blah. But for me, like, unobjectively, on a technical perspective, this is a shite looking chart, unless you want to be the bottom buyer. Now, I don't buy charts that look like this, because, like, I'm selling into it. That's why it goes down. No, I'm joking. I want to see some form of change in momentum. There's a little bit of a momentum div across Awesome Oscillator here. But there's nothing really screaming that this downtrend is going to end, right? Again, for me, I would much rather be a buyer. Like, it's probably a little low. That's probably cleaner. Let's take the RVP off. We don't need that for this. If we can show some strength, and if we can do that, and that's it for me. Like, you've got the kind of confluence at these levels, rejection here. Like, this is a pretty pivotal level. This 0.62. And I assume that this is because of their IDOs with like Sharpie and stuff like that, where you can get tickets for those IDOs, which is why you buy AIT, you stake it, and then blah blah blah. So yeah, I would not want to be a buyer until up here if I didn't have a position already. In terms of selling, like I said before, that's kind of really down to you. And do you want to sell this as like a potential range deviation? If you're up a lot from buying it, I think it was 0.2, wasn't it? Like before it got on to this exchange, CoinEx, whatever the hell that is. So I think it had a run up here and then a run before, but I could be wrong. Is this like a big deviation? That looks like capitulation right there in terms of very, very strong candle. Yeah, it's pretty nuts, isn't it? What are you going to do if it does this? Are you going to sell down here, or are you going to sell down here? What are you going to do if it does this? It's just what I try and do. Like, I'm comfortable with my AIT bag. I do think AI as a general sector has another run, but it is going to be dependent on Bitcoin, and it is going to be dependent on ETH to a smaller extent. So yeah, still bullish AIT, still think it's good, still bullish AI in general. I just think that a lot of AI coins, I actually jumped on one earlier, which was Layer AI. Like, they're building loads of different bits and pieces, and again, this is like a downtrending chart, right? Again, it looks exactly the same as Vanry, like bouncing. Try for except it didn't actually have the push up here, which Vanry had. So I'll redo that because it's a bit messy. But yeah, it didn't have that kind of bounce and push here. But again, if you want a bag, that's where you buy it. Like, really fucking simple. Validation under there. It's broken out of this range of consolidation after a very strong move up off the lows. Like, and that's what a lot of charts look like at the moment. What's that? 7x. Like, Yeah, I think a lot of AI is in that same space, and as a sector, it's come off massively in terms of it's come off the attention narrative massively. We'll load that up in a minute. And memes have been taking control. So we jumped to the smartest money. He's shielded pretty hard and did a 37% pullback. He went silent for a while, but turned out he doubled down. Was wondering where you see it going. Like, I gotta respect the smartest money.eth guy. Like, it's like total fair enough. Like, at the end of the day, it's his money, and he's putting his balls on the line and going, these are the calls. And if people want to copy trade it, if people want to risk their own money betting on someone else and trusting a completely anonymous internet person with their funds, essentially, then, you know, I think that's the person who's just blindly copy trading's problem than someone who's clearly made millions of dollars out of markets, putting out content there for free and trades for free. And yeah, shit's gonna pull back. This entire market's gonna pull back, right? You can go back to my streams 3, 4, 5 years ago, well, probably not that long, but 3 years ago, 2020 or 2021, right? I'd have been talking about some fucking garbage coins now. I'd have been talking about ape. Let's look at one, right? Let's fucking find one. Let's shit on ape, because apes fucking horrible NFT and all that. So when ape went live, right? When ape went live back here, but on FTX, I basically longed this. So the way it worked in terms of the price action on FTX is it went like this, and then it just went fucking down only, down only, down only. Every little dip just got fucking. Oh, sorry, every little pump just got absolutely sold into. Everyone sold their airdrop, and then literally the first little lower high was about. Well, I know what it was. My first ape was at 679, and I basically managed to build a massive position at 681, and I was like every tick, because this was like the most traded coin on that day. Every tick was like my entire portfolio from 2017. It was fucking crazy. And then it just did this and just fucking ran, right? And then there was times back here where all I was doing during this period here, like every day, I was basically waking up and fucking longing ape with leverage and just going absolutely mental on it, right? And we're all sat there going, oh, look, it's just a bit of a sell-off, boys, just a bit of a sell-off, but don't worry about it. Like, and eventually, this whole fucking crazy wheel of the market is going to stop, and we are going to have gone, shit. I was shilling ape at fucking $19. I was making money out of long and ape at $20 because I caught this fucking move. I think I got cucked on this one, but not a huge chunk. So my P&L basically looked like this, like that. Well, maybe not that bad, but like that. And now this piece of shit's trading at like it's basically been down only for fucking years, like years and years and years. And the same thing will happen this cycle. Not every project is going to make it into the next ones. Teams would have made millions and they'll just go, yeah, fuck this. So I know I'm ranting a little bit, but in a year's time, 2 years' time, you'll be able to pick up any call from anyone who's been on the long side and say you're a fucking idiot. And then hopefully in 6 years' time, anyone who was on the short side, you'll be able to pick up their calls and say, you're a fucking idiot. And that's the joy of these markets. So that's what I think about that situation. But props to him, man. He's sharing his trades live in public. That's a lot of pressure. Check XRP. Oh man. Are we really doing XRP? Is this what my life's come to? When it is actually green in a sea of red. And I have seen this chart a few times in terms of like, plopping a level across there and being like, look, when it goes, it's gonna go. And maybe it does, right? Maybe it will go. But do I want to bet on this right here, right now? Probably not. If this was a couple of weeks ago, this kind of consolidation and this kind of uptrend is what I was talking about. in terms of, oh, it's liquid as shit, look at it, disgusting moves. But if this was a little bit more structured in terms of like this, then yeah, I could be convinced to take that long. But right here, right now, let's have a look. Stronger, 0.08%, lovely. What a champion. Yeah, maybe actually. Yeah, it's definitely not like an A+ setup for me. It's you know, aiming for something like that in these kind of conditions is probably going to end in pain, but random dog shit. Yeah, I'd probably just not trade it, to be honest with you. Oh my. I'm just gonna go to this. Fucking hell. I mean, it's only 100 mil market cap. Like, it's actually just fucking sold off and just pumped. I imagine it's just gonna like rip further. Good game to whoever got in at 400k. I'm bullish on Pepe verse. I don't even know what it is, mate. I don't think I can keep up with everything. I think that's one thing. That's one thing to Bahama's question before, that the amount of projects, of tokens, of, because everyone's seen this game being played before, right? Like, you can launch a token for fucking 30 cents or something stupid on Solana. Like, it's not expensive, right? Like, there's millions of tokens being launched. It's very hard to find and keep up to date with everything that's going on. Very difficult. I actually think it's harder this cycle for me, despite the fact that I've got an incredible network, despite the fact that I know lots of people in lots of places and have very good information flow. And that's not to say I ever use any kind of dodgy information in terms of like, I saw a thread earlier about all this inside information. I was like, oh, I don't get any of that. I get like, oh, I get smart people saying go and have a look at this like long thing on base. I'm like, all right, it looks like a newly listed coin. All right, well I'll ape some money in there then. I fucking check my DMs today. He's like, look, it's up 3x. I'm like, bruh, cheers. Or another smart friend saying here's an LBP. Go, like, a lot of my smart friends are putting money in there. I was like, well, I'm not, because I'm not one of your smart friends. I draw fucking lines on charts, buddy. Yeah, it makes sense. You can't keep up with everything. Yeah, you just can. It's absolutely impossible. And what this approach to trading allows you to do in terms of spaghetti is it allows you to look at a huge basket of things. I don't know why this isn't working. It's because something's got taken off. But what it allows you to do is just pick the strongest one and play that, or strongest ones and play that, basically. And that's why I love this style, because this is my screener, this is how I find trades, this is how I find charts I want to look at, find the chart, get some price action, set up some trades, and go with it. I always like plan trades in advance as well, so I've got the scenarios that we talked through earlier. Yeah. Lost my job about 4 weeks ago, can't about to pay my rent. Oh man, I'm so happy for you. That is legitimately like incredible. Like, just yeah, don't not to be the boring guy in the room, but yeah, don't you know, let it don't give it all back, if that's the kind of situation you're in. Yeah, what else? DYM. I'm in this position on DYM. I talked about this. I'm not sure I'll talk about it publicly, but we'll talk about it publicly now. I'm underwater. Similar thought process to Manta in terms of new shiny coin. nice divergence across these lows here. I actually got in quite late, as you can see, but my stop is here, so I'm managing it with a smaller position size than normal. And just the theory that it's new and shiny coin, should have a run. General stop profit principles are kind of here, and range highs. But if we get a decent run on relative strength, then what I'm going to do is hold it for longer. And when we get to range highs, take 50% of the position off and let 50% run. And because it's new and shiny, and it's basically only been in that kind of down only pattern, and now we're hopefully seeing some strength, and we can see it come in and actually break out of this kind of downtrend, which is fucking terribly drawn. Yeah, I needed the oscillators for that. Really simple thought process, higher time frame piece, not particularly wonderful in terms of oh sorry, I've gone far too far in terms of its current performance, but like I said, don't win all the time. My first stream back, and I'm showing an underwater position and a loss. Hooray! Charlie, you're a legend. Well, this one was a legendary position. Like I'm buying a big bag of Doge down here, and yeah, that's doing very nicely. I think Doge in and of itself will have a really good and strong run, but I also think that there's like Doge beaters that will equally have a good run, and I'm trying to position myself for some of those, whether it's like dogshit meme coins on Solana, which again, small amounts can go to 0, can 20x, whatever. I also think there's another big Doge play, but I haven't even written my thread up about it yet, so that one's coming, and when it does, you'll hopefully understand what I mean. I don't know what's going to happen in terms of Doge and its future and all of that, and whether it's going to $1 or all that kind of rubbish. But I'm positioning for this because two things: one, I've got a fat bag of it, and two, if it gets here, we'll see quite quickly how the entire market is going to, the entire market will have to be pretty fucking risk on for it to almost 2x from here, which I think it will be. I think it is achievable still, but yeah, this is certainly one of my best plays. But it's also difficult to ignore. Momentum is kind of being lost, and if we don't hold that 50 on the daily RSI, and actually this is the first high low in terms of high time frame market structure, then actually we've got a trend change here, and maybe I'll take some off down here with the potential to add it back later, but just manage my risk around this key pivotal level, right? These, this, etc. I think we went over that one on stream quite a few times before. Thanks for thoughts on AIT, holding from IDO. If I bought higher, I've sold already. Yeah, and that's it. Like, sometimes, and IDOs are an interesting thing. I'm going to do a video for the group actually this week on like IDO plays and all that kind of stuff, because it's always, like, when I talk about them, I'm like, oh yeah, this is launching and blah blah blah. And I got in trouble for, like, someone like called me out for like the Star launch, I think it was, because I said, oh, they're launching at like 700k market cap or whatever. And that's the initial liquidity that they're providing to the market, and that's essentially the starting price. But what actually happens is, and I probably didn't, where is it? I'm sure I had it on there. There it is. Oh, I'm blind. What actually happens is, as soon as it gets listed, it gets instantly bid up, basically. So you say, oh yeah, it's a 700k, and now it looks like a fucking stable coin, right? But like with listings, it gets listed at a price. I'll talk about this one. I was an investor in this one, so private sale and all that kind of stuff, so don't fucking slaughter me. But like it literally went like 100x from that listing price instantly. And people, well, I got told people were buying it on the basis of me saying it's a 700k market cap, despite the fact that you see a fucking candle do this and go from 0.01, or whatever it is, yeah, 0.01 to fucking $2. Like, I don't really know how to explain that to people, but obviously I'll be a little bit more careful with my tweets in future. But like with IDOs, there's usually a couple of really common patterns, which is I'd say this is a fucking uncommon one in terms of how well it's held this range basically. But what usually happens is you get the initial kind of pump, you get the massive sell-off, you get like everyone was in the IDO tweets about it, you get this, and everyone goes way, and then all of those people who tweet about it, not me usually, sell into that, and then it goes like this, and then because half the people have fucking sold their bags, they don't give a shit about it anymore, and it just dies. And then about a month later, so if you look at vesting terms of contracts of pre-sales and start marking them out, there's a little bit of source in this if you can be bothered. You'll see everyone start tweeting about it again, and price will do this because the attention that coin is getting is, you know, back on the menu. I normally forget about the fucking listings, to be honest. Just like BFI. Yes. No, I haven't sold a single BFI token. Partly because I don't think I've even fucking claimed it or done whatever I have to do. But yes, I did invest in this. And yeah, like this is kind of similar where you've actually got a bit of an initial pump and then you've just got strong selling. And like I think a lot of people want to get in at this point because it's probably been hyped up for weeks and it's usually really difficult to do so. And this is the kind of more common pattern, I'd say, of exactly what we just talked about, and like this establishment of a range. And just because it's got some people invested in it beforehand, like every fucking project out there basically, just to put it in perspective, right? Like even Whiff had a fucking pre-sale. So like, you know, people thinking that all the pre-sale meta's new. No. Whiff had a pre-sale. Or so I'm told. But yeah, you get this like initial pump and then everyone gets bored, stops tweeting about it, and then like this range like that tends to establish, or like down here, is usually where, you know, you want to pick stuff up. And again, just a breakout of that like accumulation range. It was obviously pretty small and stuff like BFI, and this chart's a little bit messier than some of them, but yeah, I think playing IDOs is quite difficult in terms of the actual launch, but once the hype dies down, usually most people invest in those coins because they think they're good, not just like a quick flip. And then when you start seeing the actual strength, the next leg of the cycle, they will be good. And again, like my star bag, for example, you know, that's barely moved. Like, literally. Oh, we're going to the weekly candle. And I'm not shilling you on this, like I'm not trying to just like dump my bags on your head. I'm not going to log on afterwards and just hit market sell. But again, I invested in this project, so I thought it looks pretty cool. And I always ask myself with the game kind of things, is it a game that I'd actually play or that looks good? And if the answer is yes, then the conversation can go further. I think we've had a pre-sale, yeah. Or at least I saw a tweet about the dev's allocation, and when you're talking about allocations, that's usually because you've had a raise to fund things like the marketing and the LBP and whatever. Well, not LBP, the liquidity provision. I don't know, I'm pretty retarded with that stuff. But yeah. Like, again, I'm not going to show you my bag blindly. Like, if you wanted to get on board something like this, I'd always say, like, buy some strength. That's how I like to do it. Other people like to buy, like, boring accumulation ranges. I just think that ties your capital up for a long, long time. But yeah. Born did for sure. What, Born got in the whiff pre-sale? I believe it, mate. I believe it. I think this has been my most disappointing bag of this cycle. Token site. Because Banana, which is like their competitor, I mean, okay, it's not quite real. Is it Banana? This one? Just done that. So, You know, and they are kind of similar in terms of design. So, and I've held like I've held more than my initial allocation that I invested in the private sale down. So, oh, it means bone the token. Oh yeah, bone. Sorry, I thought it said born. Fucking hell, my eyes are shite. Apologies for that. Yeah. Yeah, so TKST, you know, is one that I bought more on when it went live. I think I bought it at like I can't remember what it was, but it was like down here somewhere. Um, and then it obviously yeeted up to like $1. Incredible. The product's really good. Like, and I'm not gonna try and show you guys and say fucking buy it here, like then you know get me out of my underwater bags and all that. But this was one where I actually did have quite high conviction, and it's really just not done much, which is a shame because the product is actually good. But you know, now I'm officially like in it for the tech. Sell diamond, shove it all into Sol. I mean, Sol's been pretty good generally. You know, in terms of structure, it's yeah, not particularly great. I guess the market doesn't particularly like that the whole thing is congested, but it's also quite a bullish sign of adoption that it is congested. You know, for me, it's like it's not particularly clean, but looking at like the downtrends that for me need to be kind of broken around, you know, flipping this and actually showing some strength and that this is a low. I'd much rather be longing from up here than trying to catch a bottom here, because basically all of this is kind of like unswept territory, you know, from there basically never swept again. GKST is waiting for me to sell to pump. Classic move. Yeah, that's probably it. If you could just sell Zerbish, that's really selfish of you to not sell, to be honest. Why look at Zil? No, no. Zil is one of those coins that you are going to be in it for a fucking lifetime, and then it will just do the scammiest dogshit pump you've ever seen in your life. Like, structurally, the chart looks great in terms of this pivotal level, right? But there's just like no, well, maybe it doesn't. Yeah, there's just no reason for me to long this over like pretty much anything else. Like, I just can't see a big strong Zil meta. But maybe I'm wrong. Oh, looks. Yeah. You did say about that, and I went, oh, great, looks. So again, disclosure. I invested like a 20% of my position as an OTC deal. You know, I don't mind saying it. I've got no problem with it. It's vested over months, so I don't get all my tokens for fucking months. So if the market just does this, I get fucked in the ass, and there's nothing I can do about it, and that money's just like pissed away. So you know, there's deals and then there's deals, right? But yeah, I thought it was good. So I took it. I used my influencer status and abused it. So there it is. And yeah, I think I can't remember what my entry for my spot bags was, but because it took me a little while to build it. But it was when I was on holiday, so it was somewhere around here. Actually, no, it was around here. 30. Yeah, it's around here. So basically, I'm in at like an average of 0.14 or something like that. And one of the things that I think is good about Lux is the whole Tensorian meta that I think is going to come out, and that's going to be a little bit of a revival of NFT space. And if we actually do get some strength on ETH/BTC, which we didn't really talk about, but these are my garbled notes from my Paragon stream, which you know is my like weekly outlook, and the TLDR of it, as you just saw, is pretty much like ETH BTC, big range. We've kind of reclaimed into that range, and now let's see if we can go to range highs. And if we start getting a bit of movement on ETH, and if we start seeing Solana continues to stay congested, then I think risk moves to Ethereum. And I think if risk moves to Ethereum, then I think with Tensor and stuff, which my bag is now underwater. Excellent. I bought around 180, 189 I think it was. So I piled in a little bag up here somewhere as I was on a conversation with my friend, but that's underwater. Yeah, I think if this runs, which I think it will, then I think people will be looking for beta. I think Lux will be beta to that. And the other thing is that when people say like OTC deals are bad, like the Cole's job, well, yeah, it's Cole Key Opinion Leader, I think is what it stands for, is to basically market their bags. And so it's win-win for them. They get a slightly discounted rate, but it's vested over a fucking long period of time. And you know, the project gets awareness. So it's kind of like a mutually beneficial thing if it works out. But it's very different than just being paid, you know, here's 20 grand, go talk about our project. It's like, no, we've put our money on the table. What is this? But yeah, terms are obviously slightly different. But yeah, like we're at a new all-time high for stablecoins. I'm in the market. You know, we're at a precipice in terms of you know, the all-time highs of BTC. I still don't understand why people would be like actively bearish. It's absolutely fine to manage your risk. It's absolutely fine to take your foot off the gas, which is what I've been doing the last few weeks. You gave us spaghetti. Looks more GameFi, saw a few of their website when I was checking recently. Yeah, they got a lot of things. They're changing a few things, but yes, they are. And my bag, which is now underwater, is starting to become a common theme in this stream. No, I mean I've realised a lot of profits on across various bits and pieces. Yeah, I don't really have many majorly underwater bags. TKST is probably one of the biggest ones that's underwater, but underwater from the perspective of it's my spot buys that are underwater. The pre-sale bags, which I think are probably still vested for a reasonable amount of time, aren't too underwater given what I put in. But yeah, I'm never going to get it perfectly right, and that's one of the things that I think a lot of people expect. Just because you've been here for a long time, you can sell the top every time, and it's like, no. You know, sometimes I sell here, and then it carries on going up. Sometimes I don't sell, and I run it to the top, and then it does this, and then I have to sell down here, go back where I should have wanted to sell before, basically. I know, man. No. It's one of those things where I prefer an approach of like, I get it wrong, I get it right, but it's more how I manage my losses than, well, I suppose it's both, but I think people find losses a little bit more interesting because most people don't fucking talk about them, but I could be wrong. Maybe I could just tell you everything I've won this year and start sucking my own dick, and you can listen to me slap. Second is Nerdbot. I don't know what Nerdbot is, mate, but that's what I mean. I can't even keep up. Like I'm long on IOTX as well. I don't think I talked about that on here. I've been along this for a while. It's not really done much, to be honest with you. I thought we'd get a nice corrective leg. Sorry, a nice kind of rotational leg on it, but so far, not yet. I'm trying to just do things like this so you can sort of see positions, and we can talk about active positions a little bit easier. But yeah, right, it's 8:15. Are there any other questions or anything? Or if not, I'll probably get going. It's been a pleasure, as always. I appreciate the love and the support. I'm gonna schedule all of these back again, and we're going to do things a little bit better next time because I won't be as well. I'll be more prepared. So yeah, I appreciate all the likes, all the subs, and all that kind of stuff. Oh, RWA coins. So I've got bags of things like Boson, Propsy. I had a really good Raven trade at the start of the year, which I'm kind of gutted I didn't keep. Because I kind of, I well, I'll be honest, I had basically limits in, and it all hit, and I was like, oh, you know, I've never been disappointed that I made money out of, like, I even got fucking ripped by Magus. Magus ripped me for it, and he was like, why the fuck are you long in RVN? Like, what the hell is wrong with you? And I was like, mate, fuck off, trade your own book. And then like 2 weeks later, I just DM'd in the chat every day. Like, where was it? Yeah, it was down here. Look at it. Look at it. Motherfucker. Yeah. Yeah, that was it. He was like, why are you long in fucking RVN? I was like, RWA play, mate, innit? Back in 2017. So RVN was really good. Yeah. But, I mean, like any long you took back then, right, you could look at now and go, oh, fuck me. But it was, and you would have obviously had to have basically given 2/3 of it back. But yeah, it's a funny one. Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. It's been a quieter one tonight, but I think next time we'll do a bit of a giveaway. I think I was meant to do it tonight, but I didn't really think through the practicalities of how to do it. Because it's just going to be really fucking awkward if I'm just boshing around on stream going, yeah, how'd you press this button then? Yeah, I mean, look at some of these altcoins. Like, the market really needs to fucking pull its finger out of its ass if we're going to continue on the next leg. Because really, this is like parabolic, you know, a low high, and it's that whole bouncing ball meta which tends to end in this. And I like down. Glad to have me back. I'm glad to be back. Genuinely, it's really nice, and it's nice to have the market a little bit more chilled, a little bit more lighter pace, and manageable, I would say. So yeah, thank you all for being here. I appreciate all the names that I see. I see a lot of you liking my tweets and stuff, and commenting and retweeting and all that kind of stuff. And it doesn't go unnoticed. You know, sometimes I think, why do I bother even tweeting at all when I can tweet a picture of, I can tweet a 4-year-old picture of, what's it called, the liquidity maps, and say 700 trillion of Bitcoin shorts just opened up, and get a bajillion views and followers and all that kind of stuff, and you think, what's the fucking point in spending 3 hours writing a thread? Yeah. While we've been here, I got a new lowest performer. Go on. You tell me what it is. Sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you. It's just a funny sentence. It's like, oh yeah, actually in the space of the last hour, this is not my worst shitcoin. It's just funny because that's how fast crypto moves and works. Yeah, cheers, Ham. ITX getting crushed. I don't even know what ITX is, brother. I'm guessing that's a, like, pure shitcoin. This. I don't know what the fuck it is, but yeah, this is like the... This is the sad world of, like, low caps. You know, you basically buy in around 1 million, 2 million, and you've got a, you know, a chance of it running to 10, which is quite typical, or just going straight to 0. And like, yeah, the whole market in terms of risk is bleeding quite heavily. But yeah, on that bombshell, I hope your ITX recovers, my friend. And I will love you and leave you all. au revoir. Until next week, which is scheduled in, by the way. So I'm going to be scheduling all my streams in so you know when they are. For your pleasure and mine. Au revoir.